What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Omni X-Men. We're breaking down issue 139, and of course, I have to bring my co-host here. And let me just see. Oh, nope. It turns out my co-host is still backstage at the moment, so we're gonna let him set up as he's still backstage, and it looks like our special guest is also still backstage. So I guess I'll be running the show at least for now. But in the meantime, I hope everybody's doing well. I know we missed last week, but we're back. Omni X-Men's back. We had to take a little time off because last week was crazy for me with work and all this other stuff. So, but things are good. Hope everybody else is doing well. And let me see if John here is. No, he's still backstage. We're gonna hang tight until he comes back. Oh, here he is. Here he is. John, my co-host. There he is. John.
Hey, the talking crotch is back, and we are here and ready to talk more Uncanny X-Men.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man? I feel like it's been a month and a half since I've talked to you, or since we've streamed together, at least.
A lot's happened. I'm a different guy. I'm different.
You're
man.
in a different section of your setup and everything.
Yeah,
like
this is my hibernation space, my winter abode. I'm not a fan, but you know it works. It's colorful like me, so you know we'll deal with it. But I do what you got to do
on
display.
Yeah. I noticed that. It's very nice, very nice.
It's better than looking at me is looking at Kitty Pride.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look like a guy who just rescued like 20 kids. I don't know. Anyways, so we are excited to bring on our special guest who. This is his first time being a guest on our particular show. He's certainly been on my channel before, but in terms of Omni X-Men, really excited to have our good friend Jason from Claiming Comics. So Jason, there he is. Cheers, my friend. What is going on? Yeah, man. You know, you guys got the beer. I had to get a little bourbon. But good, man. Doing real good. I see you guys both got the green hoodie memo that I sent out. I left mine upstairs, so that's great. Jason, thanks for joining us, man. And I'll start off by saying that I know you've been really sticking or tagging along with like where we've been at recently. I see you posting, each week as we, we've been doing breaking down all these issues. So, and I know you're a diehard Mutant fan and following along with a lot of the newer stuff, the Hickman stuff. So it's cool to have you on the show.
Appreciate you guys having me on. It's I know you guys all your shows, they're so booked. You guys are so popular, man. There's the guest list is so damn packed. I remember
it's all Chet's
taking a look at the list John sent me of the issues, and I'm like, damn, like all the good issues I want to go over, they're all done. They're all filled up. So I appreciate you guys fitting me in your tight schedule, and your guest list, your all-star guest
list. Of course, man. Of course. Hey, there's still openings. There certainly are still openings, and we'd love to have you back again. Assuming you don't crash and burn here on this particular episode.
True.
The pressure gets to you.
Yeah, that's right. And anyone watching right now, if you guys are interested, anyone out there interested, we certainly are always open to having more guests on. We're gonna be breaking down the book that John has right there, 139. Which definitely looking forward to talking about. Before I do, let me just clarify and say, a couple house cleaning items. One, make sure you stick around afterwards. We do have our raffle questions that we do, our trivia. So we'll have 4 trivia questions for you guys that are all based on last episode. So if you guys read along with us from the last issue, which is not 138, just a heads up. But if you also watched our show from last time over on John's channel, stick around for that after we break this issue down at the end of this stream. And then on top of that, make sure you're following John because that's where we do the show half the time. So you want to make sure to be subbed up to him. I put his information in the description below. And of course, my man Jason, I put his Instagram in the description below as well.
And I will say, like, Jason's Instagram has saved me many times going like, oh, crap, I need to get that variant. Oh, no, I missed this issue of. Yeah, so, like, if you're an X-Men head like myself, like, following Jason has definitely helped me get some sweet variants. So.
Hell yeah. Always on top. And I do want to give a shout out to our good friend Nick, who is doing one of our giveaways. And I actually put the picture up here. So I'll show it real quick. This is what you can win later at the end of this season right here. It's this beauty right here. Sorry, Jason, it's covering you, but
look at this, man.
This is done from our good friend Nicholas Lane, who I met about a year and a half ago through Instagram. Just an awesome artist. He does this for fun. Really nice guy. I'm gonna put his link in the chat right now. So if anybody wants to reach out to him for commissions or just to check out his page, you certainly can do so. Well, I'll get the link in just a second.
I
But
have two, just so everybody knows, I already had that amazing Storm cover art piece done by Nick not too long ago, and now Nicholas has 2 new pieces that he's just mailed me this week.
Yep.
So
Oh,
I have
awesome.
some very exciting things to unpackage here in the next week.
can't
My
wait to
Christmas
see those.
presents, if you will.
I knew you were going to go down that rabbit hole real quick because it's so easy with Nick. He makes it so
I'm going to
easy.
blame it on wall space. Like I was
Yeah,
looking at the
there you
wall
go.
space. I'm like, yeah, 2 is nice, but 4. Ooh, and then I
Exactly.
went DC. I need some DC characters. And then
I
it was
did the
before
same
long.
thing.
It was like, crud. Here we are. This is my life now. This is me.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that, my friend. There's the link. I just put it in the description. So again, guys, make sure to or I put it in the chat. I'll make sure to add it to the description. Nicholas Lane, if you're watching, thank you as always for everything that you do. All right, let's say a quick load of the chat here, and then we will get into this issue. So of course we got to go with Ruben Guzman, White Tiger, Cool Calm Collected, saying Cowabunga fam. Good to see you as always. We also have our good friend Ryan here, who always likes to leave us a nice little comment right off the bat. He says, "Welcome to the Omni X-Men Claiming Comics." Talking to Jason. Hope you survived the experience. There, yeah, he'll do all right.
It's right here on the cover. See,
Right.
Yeah.
welcome to the X-Men, Kitty Pride. Hope you survived the experience. It's right there.
See, there you go. Jason and the leader of the Supreme X-Men, Miss Diana Ross. Yes. Spot on, Ryan, as always. Good to see you, my friend. We have our good friend Brandon also hanging out with us, a fellow partner of the show. I feel like he's on here half the time with us. So good to see you, my friend. Yeah, that's right. He was just on Lamer Frame over with Rod. So I'm sure that's like, I don't know if that's just wrapping up probably. But good stuff there. We got our good friend Thomas Jackman in the house as well. TJ, thanks for stopping by. We got our good friend Chet. There he is, just talking about him before. He's talking about Leland. He goes, "Oh, good."
Anytime you need it, I've got this at the ready for you, Chet. Just for you, man.
Oh. By the way, Chet says he has a 9/4 black Stan and Chris signature.
So that's his low. So you got a low grade copy, a reader. You got a reader.
Yeah, to him,
nice.
That's like a reader. Yeah.
Well, if it's in plastic, you can't read it, right?
Well,
That's
even that he would
adorable. That's
even
adorable. Copy.
Even his readers, he doesn't read. You know, that's how that's how Chet rolls. Jackson Roy Kirk in the house. Good to see you as always. Thanks for stopping in. We have our good friend Donnie here, Mastodon Comics and Music, also hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you. Let's see.
He's been doing some great music shows on his channel. If you guys haven't been following, really great stuff.
I've noticed that. Yeah, good. Always, definitely good stuff. Donnie, I gotta reach out to you again, and we gotta chat soon. Let's see. Roy Kirk says, read an issue of an OG Miss Marvel. She was fighting Pierce and Leland. Oh, okay, thank goodness. The lovely Miss Danvers distracted me from Leland's package.
Something has to.
Saved, yes, yeah. We have our friend Michelle, Moonlit Comics. What's going on? Michelle just had her on Comic Collector Origins this past Saturday, and literally talked for almost 2 hours. It was so much fun. Make sure you go check that out if you get a chance. But always good to see you, Michelle. Michelle, we got to get you on this show at some point. I know you read a lot of these old school issues, so that would be
a bunch
cool.
of those fanfares coming up at the end of this Omni. So
those are a good mix
to have people join us. Yeah.
All right. We got Bleecker Street also hanging out. What's going on, Bleecker? Good to see you. All right. I think we're all caught up at the moment. Again, guys, stick around for after as we do the trivia. Remember, you can win a couple different prizes that we have, and we'll get into more details later. But for now, let's jump into the book. 139, John, I'm going to start with you. What were your initial thoughts of the book, and what would you grade it?
This might be one of the few issues. It's been like an exceptionally long time since I've read it. Like I remember reading it back in the 80s or whatever, and then maybe one other time in a classic X-Men issue or something. So this was definitely like so many things I had forgotten. So it was kind of a fun, like, nostalgia read for me. Yeah. Definitely not like 9-8 amazing book, but just a lot of fun. I think we talked a lot about how this Claremont run tends to have either issues that are like on some crazy adventure or like calming down back at the mansion. And this is clearly like a back at the mansion issue at the beginning, and then it starts the next adventure. I like the back at the mansion issues. I gotta say, I enjoy seeing the team training, getting to know each other. So we've got new team members kind of thrown in here, getting to know one another, old members, new members. It's kind of a fun mix together. overall, I think this is a 9.0 for me. Just it's solid, entertaining, and feels like just good old fashioned copper Marvel goodness.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on there.
Where's this bronze? This is probably bronze, isn't it?
Oh yeah, at this point, bronze. Yeah. Jason, what about you? You said you're great. Jason, what would you grade this, and what were your initial thoughts on this?
Wait, John, what was your grade? I didn't hear you.
I said 9.0.
9.0. So this issue, I only read it once prior, and then two times, like once today on the reread, and then once prior, like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, whatever that was. I thought it was okay on the first read when I was just reading through the Claremont run for the first go. But when I revisited it today, I actually really appreciated it. Just like John said, I like the mansion issues, like where they're like unwinding and like training and like I liked how there was a lot of and they mentioned it too, like humor, especially in the beginning of the issue. There was a lot of placed humor, and like it was they made it a point to point that out in the beginning, and like I felt like there was a lot packed in, but it was paced well. Like there was stuff with the mansion, then there was stuff with Kurt at the end, and then there was a lot of stuff like packed into the issue itself. But I thought it never lost its pacing, even though there was a lot jumbled in. And, I really liked it, and I'd give it a 9.2, just because I think I liked it just a little bit more than John did. I feel like 9.0 it was like the range I was feeling, but just talking about it, I definitely feel like I appreciate it a little more.
Nice.
Yeah, well said. I'm definitely with you guys, and Jason, especially how you said like the first read through was kind of like okay, like it's kind of what John said too. Like it's not a 9.8, but it definitely has a lot of different. Just a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of like sub stories. Basically, it's basically like a filler issue in a way. Not really. I don't want to say filler, but I want like kind of like a setup issue. Just kind of. I mean, we just finished a huge event. So for anyone who like hasn't been reading this or hasn't been keeping up, 138 and 137, all that prior, massive event with the Dark Phoenix saga, and so of course you have to have some down tempoed stuff that's to come and to kind of reestablish what's going on. So with understanding that and knowing that going into this issue, I think that it definitely can hold strong. I'm probably going to give it like an 8.5, which I think is still very respectable and high for an issue like this. There were some like again just slower moments, and but I get it. They got to kind of re-stir up the pot, right, to some degree. So I totally understand that, totally respect that. A lot of the artwork was great as usual. So don't want to take anything away from it in that sense. And it is a key in a sense. There's a lot of special things that go on here. Including there's some, I mean, just the character development of some of the characters. So definitely looking forward to getting into some of that as well. Wanted to say a quick hello to Ian here, Hood Rat Comics, hanging out with us. Good to see you, Ian. And Magic Lasso, first of all, so every time Lasso puts out a comment in our comment section, I'm always like very careful because I don't know if like it's going to be an end to a joke or something to that effect, or just something very very passionate or very true. And in this case, it's very, a nice, like passionate thing. I mean, I love all the comments that Ryan leaves, but this one, he just talks about how true it holds memory to him and kind of some of the past. And I just love hearing this kind of stuff. He says he recalls that he was homesick. His mom and dad told him to run to the drugstore to get to buy some more comics. And this was one of the issues that he bought while he was sick away from school. So just a cool little memory. Yeah. A little something. So thanks for sharing that. Cool. Ryan.
Totally. Yeah, that's the stuff that sticks with you for sure. And you remember where you were when you bought it or read it the first time. That's
totally. Yeah.
I'm definitely very jealous of the people that were in that generation of these comics. Like, yeah, these new comics we have, modern comics are cool. Don't get me wrong, but that's you can't beat that. Time being buying it off the rack. Ooh, excuse me.
Yep. Right? No, for sure.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to bring up the slideshow here, and of course we like to talk a little bit about the cover. John, I'm going to pass it to you. What were your initial thoughts of the cover?
I think the cover is a lot of fun. You talk a lot about how, like, would you want to buy this cover? And me as a kid, always wanting to be an X-Men. Like, this is perfect. Like a new kid joining the team, and it says, "Welcome to the team. Hope you survive." You're like, oh, I really want to see what it's like to be the new kid at the X-Men mansion. Like, and for me, it kind of lives up to it. So I love the cover as far as just the concept. Is it busy? Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of stuff going on here, but it all happens legitimately in the issue. So I'm happy about that as well.
True.
And you get a little bit of everybody going on there with Kitty Pryde as the focus and my girl there at the bottom robbing the whole bottom third of this thing. So yeah, I'm all about it. I like this cover a lot.
Nicely said. Jason, what about you? What are your thoughts on the cover?
Yeah, just like John said, if I saw this cover, at the shop, I would immediately be pulled to and want to buy it. And just like I mentioned before, how there was a lot of stuff jam packed into this issue, but the pacing, in my opinion, was still held up well. And like John said, everything on the cover happens in the issue, so it's not like they're pulling your leg and saying, "Oh, this is gonna happen." You're gonna see a polar bear, and you don't see a polar bear. You know what I mean? So like, I appreciate that, and like also like John said, it's always nice when Storm's on the cover. So.
Yep. Agreed. And yeah, that's, I think it is such an accurate cover in terms of the fact that all these things happen and I just like how it's all divided because yeah, all these stories are kind of happening, separately. And the way they tell it is really well done. And how this cover it describes that I think is spot on. So I do agree though, too, to what John said. It's definitely a bit busy, definitely louder, a lot obviously going on in general, but I don't think it necessarily hurts the cover. It's definitely just part of it. All right. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Jump right into the splash page here. And immediately we get hit with just some awesome action. Love this first panel here on the left. The splash pages are always something I look forward to when, diving into these particular Claremont issues. And, of course we got Angel now training with the team and definitely a little different. And going into this, I was curious, like kind of who we were going to see and, who was going to be part of this issue now that there's kind of been this reset and they don't technically have a leader from what we know of, as Cyclops has left the team. So, Jason, I'm going to throw this to you first. What did you think of this initial opening couple of panels?
It's funny. That first page right here of Angel, he says, what does he say? Holy what? What does he say? Holy cats? At the bottom. I know you. I don't know.
Holy cats. Holy cats.
Holy cats. Yeah. Because you guys incorporate so many gifts on the show. On the reread earlier, I swear I was just imagining the very first page. Obviously, I read Holy Cats and I was like, I think Justin or John or someone's gonna put. There's gonna be a GIF of some cat with like a Pope hat or something. It's gonna, I figured that would be on here. And I'm very disappointed that there is no GIF.
Missed that opportunity.
Yeah, dude. So like, I'm quite disappointed. That's my first,
that's fair. Totally fair. John's the king with that. I'm just trying to keep up. John's the king with that.
John is a king of gifts. You're right. But I was expecting a cat like I don't know, doing some funny dance.
It is an odd shout out, kind of like when Beast says, "Oh my stars and garters." It just doesn't make any sense. But you're like, it's who they are.
Like, in the year they're in, like holy cow, it makes perfect sense. It still makes sense today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Holy cats, that makes no sense. But anyway, yeah, I like I said, I like the mansion issues. So I liked how it opened up with the training, sequence, and like I liked how like they were kind of like falling apart as a team, kind of in a sense in this issue, like right here. Angel's like about to knock into Nightcrawler, and like honestly, I found the dialogue very funny because it's of its time, right? So it's very descriptive. So it's like explaining every little thing, like, oh, like Angel, he's about to knock into him, but then, this is going to happen. I just found that like funny, chuckling to myself. So I really enjoyed it though, the opening pages. Yeah.
It's kind of like the, if I grab that handle over there and swing from that fence, I should be able to do this and stop the villain. Like they really like, I remember reading like the early Daredevil stuff and he does that a ton. Stan Lee, like when you're reading the early stuff. But yeah, I definitely agree there. John, what about you? What were your thoughts on this opener?
I mean, it's super exciting right off the bat. When we dive into an issue and they're in the danger room, like they're just going to town, like it's always really thrilling. You don't know what robot's gonna pop out, what dangerous situation they're going to get themselves into. So it was very exciting right off the bat. And I'm not a huge Angel fan. Definitely the most boring of the original team members. Really not a lot that he brings to the show, but very cool design to the character. I think he looks cool. So at least he has that going.
He kind of sucks right now, like where he's like in this, in this specific book.
Yeah, apparently he's out of shape, out of skill. Like he's just like looking to get back into the routines. Yeah, he's like coming out of retirement, something.
He's dropping the ball, basically.
Which we kind of saw in the Dark Phoenix saga when they were on the planet, or when they had to go into that final Hunger Games type of battle, and he's the first one to kind of screw up and fly into where there's lack of gravity, and he's like, oh no, what's like, and they're just like, dude, you like can't do that, like, what are you, a rookie? Like, so even here they're kind of addressing that he's still like off his game. So I do like that they kind of continued that from
spoiled rich white
from those kids. Right.
God.
Yeah. Also, I think on a side note, I keep trying to think of like a really good question that I would ask Chris Claremont the day I meet him, because I know one day I do plan to meet him. I think that might be one of my opening questions is, why holy cats? I think that might be what I'm going to go with. One. Yeah.
He's going to be like, I don't know what you're talking
about. Watch him have some like really detailed story answer. Like, well, I remember writing it in that morning, that Tuesday. It was a Tuesday morning and I had to pick up my cat, and he's just going to go into like details.
Again, I'm disappointed. There's no GIF.
I know. I got some others going, so hopefully that I can make up for some of that. So we'll jump into some more stuff here. I figure I add a little soundtrack. I can't actually add the audio here without getting flagged or whatever. But just in your minds, picture you're the best. You're in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get you. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
There you go. Everybody at home right now, just put that on for these next couple of panels that we're gonna break down here, because that music.
It's either that or it's the Team America. You need a montage.
Yeah.
I wish this music was playing in my head when I was reading this now.
Yes. See,
really just cap it all off.
They need to add that as like, part of this, add your own soundtrack. Like this would just really fit perfect. So yeah, again, just continuing with the action, a little bit more detail you can see on the left there. Basically, Nightcrawler is kind of being thrown out of control, and he's about to run into Angel. That's like the main premise of like the accident that's happening throughout this whole thing. I love that like Wolverine is so confident down at the bottom. He's like, I got this handled, and just completely rips out a piece of the paneling to like save. I always think about the Danger Room and how like there's got to be things in the Danger Room that are not meant to be broken. You know what I mean? Like it's not
built right.
Yeah, right. And it's just like every time like things get so destroyed, and they're like, "Yep, that's exactly how it should have been solved." Like
if it was real life, and the amount of damages the Danger Room, faces every single day, the amount of money that it takes to repair, and the amount of time it takes to repair these,
that's why they have Angel though. He's loaded. So
true that.
I want to see like a comedy show about the guys who have to fix the Danger Room each day. Like come in there, the tech and repair guys.
That'd be so great.
Make a new series now that goes back, and
you don't need any rights because they don't actually have to mention any of the characters. It's just people fixing a training room, and you just know when you see 3 claws scratched on the wall. You're like, really?
Like
John, I think you should.
How do you get up there? Why does everything smell like brimstone in here?
John, I think you should pitch this idea to Marvel, because they have their X-Men Legends book, right, where they go back in time and fill in certain gaps, right? I think
each issue could end with like 2 pages of these guys just like talking crap and cleaning. It's like the office of X-Men.
That would be great. And
everyone would eat it up. Everyone would eat it up in my
heck yeah.
Totally. And I agree with Roy Kirk here. He says, "Ooh, the next marketing blitz, reprinting Omnis with the audio component." Yep, I could totally see that being there. And then I was gonna say, then we got to rebuy all of our Omnis again, which we will. Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan. I agree. That Storm drawing on the right is spectacular.
Definitely.
I don't know how quickly Wolverine moves, but apparently really fast to cut that piece of metal and run it over and stick it out where it needs to go. And it looked like Nightcrawler was like 3 inches from death 2 panels before.
Yep.
But he moves fast. Like, dude moves fast.
Yep. The other thing I want to note here is that Kitty Pryde is kind of in the background scenes behind Professor X, where it's safe. And she's terrified. She's like, "Holy crap! Like that guy almost like died." Like she's like, so again, just kind of give us some perspective.
I think she's really feeling like, "Oh, I have to go in there. Like I go in there later."
Yeah. Like
that's where I do that.
Right.
Hard pass.
Completely
I'm
terrifying.
next.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so moving on from this, and again, keep that music going if you're watching this. A couple of different things here. So I kind of threw there's a lot going on, but still continue with this action here. You see Doc Ock and his legs coming out, his tentacles to take Storm, and
He's
so
clearly
she
the one we can't see.
Very on theme.
yes,
This
yes.
is a No Way Home spoiler.
Yeah, I was gonna say very
Yes.
on theme.
Yeah, spoiler at home. And then of course I love the line on the bottom left next to Norm there when he's saying that's not my name, how Professor X is just like Wolverine just keeps throwing him all these other names other than Charles. He's like, could you please just Professor X or Charles or whatever. He's like, all right, Chuck. And
Well, and then it flips around because then he tries to name Kitty and she's like, that I don't like, that's a horrible name.
Yeah.
So she's right back at Charles. She's like,
right,
you suck at naming things.
Yeah.
I'm not the Little Mermaid. Stop naming me.
That's a stupid ass name. Like that's the first thing you can come up with her powers. Like you can't be a little more creative.
Yeah, like I still think Shadowcat is her best name, but that's just
it really is.
So Shadowcat came that was like much later.
Way later, way later.
Yeah. Such a good name.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be my second question to Chris Claremont, and maybe he has some sort of deal with Sprite, and maybe that was why they had to go with that name. So this
is lemon lime.
Yeah.
I hate this name too. Sprite.
Not a big fan.
And she's like all on board. She's like, yeah, that sounds great as long as you don't make jokes about pulling my tab, like.
Well, but to Chris Claremont's credit, I do think he did a great job of taking a character from being an early teenage, you're a kid, all the way through to adulthood and giving her an evolution. So naturally that's going to come with changes of identity, costume, appearance. And I think that fits a nice narrative for her all the way through to, I guess you could continue into the Marauders story.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of fits her having like a quote unquote dumb first superhero name being a kid. Right?
A 14 or a 15-year-old's not going to really hit the nail on the head with that first costume and nickname.
Unless you're
Robin. A little more now.
Unless you're Robin. Hey, I want to say a quick hello to Aggressively Relaxing, one of my favorite YouTube names out there. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. Magic Glasses says, wait till she wears that ugly costume in a few issues. Yeah. So yeah, any other thoughts here? I mean, I know we get some name changes and things like that going on. The lemonade that's
I was gonna say Xavier looks like he's in a lemonade commercial.
He totally does.
Try Crystal Light.
Yeah,
he looks like
Sunny
like
D
commercial actually.
Yeah, he really,
as he says to our new member Sprite. Yeah.
And I love how Wolverine's like, I'm having a beer. I'm getting drunk.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and Nightcrawler's like, oh, I know, don't worry. I mean, I know you by now, alcoholic.
Yeah, I love how he knew and like brought him a beer.
Yeah, right.
Everyone else has lemonade.
Yeah.
I forget. Oh, did I? I forget what the name of it was.
The beer.
Yeah, he had a name.
The name of the beer.
They have to keep.
It's you would have to zoom in. I think it's on the can. I definitely saw.
Sorry,
name
I'll get
reading it.
I'll get my Omni ready.
I guess he doesn't say. I
thought he said, but it's definitely written on the can.
Okay, I thought maybe Nightcrawler said it at first. All right, so let's moving on here. So here's some. This is
Molson Exports.
Oh, Molson. Okay, there you go. I love that stuff. Omni X-Men brought to you by Molson Exports. So again, we shift gears. We're in a whole different kind of viewpoint when Professor X he suggests that he has another kind of surprise for Kitty Pryde and that she should go walking with Storm.
Yeah.
So they get to go down the street here and they go into, the door is locked essentially, which is I like that they took time to kind of find a way for Kitty to show off her abilities,
Right.
So I do like that bottom left hand panel of her, seeing all the brooms and stuff in front of the door and how she kind of uses her ability to kind of clear the way. And the dialogue with all this, I'm not going to read all of it, but like the dialogue is like, she's just such a kid, and like, there you go. Like I fixed the problem, like she's just very much a kid. And so I think it was needed to kind of, continue building out kind of how she stands. And then of course we kind of get introduced to this character, Stevie Hunter, as the surprise is a dance hall that, or a dance school studio. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this, John? This whole kind of shifting gears.
I think really underrated about the character Storm is like her sense of style. I think she's all it doesn't matter. Look how just to the nines she is, even in her just like, oh, I'm just cruising out. Like I think they do a great job of giving characters an attitude or a style, and I think Storm always has this. I'm here to look good. Like check me out. Like I can dress up any way you like, and I think she has this mom quality in this issue where she's just like taking Kitty under her wing, much like she did in Kitty's first appearance, where she's like, taking her out to the malt shop and the other guys are reading porn. Like she's like, no, like you guys go away. I can take care of this better. Like, go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop drinking beer and reading porn around the new kid.
Bunch of animals.
Jeez. So I like Storm's attitude and appearance, the way she's like projecting, I'm the leader now. I'm here to be respected.
Yeah. No, well said. Jason, any other thoughts here on this scene here?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, even though there wasn't a lot of like quote unquote action and like a lot like to progress the story forward, like I really enjoyed this issue, even this brief part of like a bonding time between Storm and Kitty. I thought it was funny how like the door it couldn't open because of the broom or something was knocked over, and I'm like,
right.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, who does that? Like the janitor or whoever's like associated with those things, like he wouldn't do that, he wouldn't. I don't know, but I thought it was a nice part, like her showcasing her powers and like, oh, let me help, and I thought it was nice, good bonding time.
Yeah, well, yeah, agreed. Couple of quick hellos. We got our good friend Perry Comics, Pickle Perry, hanging out with us. What's going on, Perry? We also have our good friend Guy from the Pressable Defects. Guy, what's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping in as well. So yeah, let's move this along here as we kind of again jump scenes. As you can see on the left here, we have this redhead who we don't really know much about yet until we kind of start reading some of the dialogue and understanding that it is Vindicator's wife, Hudson, right? Last name Hudson. Heather.
Yeah.
So someone who we haven't really met before. We do know Vindicator from some of the previous Canadian issues that we've read.
Right.
So it's interesting to kind of see, she's dealing with a lot. She's walking home and she's talking about how she's happy that she's able to have some time off now because there's some extra time she put in to help her boss, get ready for all this stuff. But she's like concerned with money and a bunch of other things that she's coming home to, like a mess. And then, of course, as she gets home from grocery shopping and everything, the doors open and she's kind of freaked out. And then, as we see all here on the right hand side, it's just these two knuckleheads hanging out, Wolverine and Nightcrawler. So I like how he's just chilling there. And he's probably got a
drinking again.
Yeah. It's also
what's up, sexy?
Right. But she's like delighted to see him. Heather's just like, hey, it's Wolverine. She calls him Logan, which was big. And then like
finally somebody other than a freaking leprechaun knows this guy's name.
Yeah, like some could say that this is the first time that someone really said his name that actually like that existed.
Right.
But that, and then to see him like pick her up with like joy and everything. Yeah, he's like really pumped for that. And then I love Nightcrawler's kind of reaction here at the bottom right, where he's just like, Wolverine, that you're called Logan? He's like, yep. He's like,
I love how shocked he is. He's like, mein Gott. Like,
yeah. He's like blown away.
That's your name?
Yeah.
Your real name is not Wolverine?
Exactly.
And also, I know this lady is the Vindicator's wife, and like there was that dialogue explained that, and like even the money troubles, a lot of details.
Yeah.
No, they were like close friends, like the three of them. We'll get to that in the next page or whatever. But like the way he greeted her, I was like, interesting. Like I was like, I don't know if there's any history that Vindicator might not possibly know.
When I first read this issue, I already knew who she was from other things like the Barry Windsor Smith Wolverine issues, where we see him as Weapon X and being found in the snow by Heather. Like Heather's one of the people that finds like raging crazy Wolverine naked in the snow. Like she finds him helps him heal up, find his way a little bit, and then enrolls him in the Weapon X or the Weapon Alpha program, whatever the Alpha Flight program in Canada. So I had seen her in several places before I had found this issue and read it for the first time. So I always kind of liked her. I hated Vindicator. That guy seemed like just such a dick. But like she was always like a cool little like he's interested in her and she's kind of interested in him, but it doesn't ever really work out, you know. But like, yeah, she's a cool
maybe
character.
off panel. It did work.
I'm saying I would be down for that.
Yeah, that hasn't been written yet, John. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad to hear that she does have like a more significant role down the road. Obviously, I haven't been able to read those, any of those issues yet, and to my knowledge, I don't think she's using all.
I didn't know that either. That's
I'm a big fan of those Barry Windsor Smith issues. If you have the Marvel app, it is one of the fastest reads you'll ever do because it's like almost no writing on the issues. Barry Windsor Smith did the Weapon X storyline where you just see Wolverine going through all these experiments and how his brain got all fractured all the way through to being discovered in the snow by Heather. And it's really interesting to read. You read, again, it's like 8 issues or something, but it goes so fast because there's almost no writing. And the artwork is so psychedelic and wild, really entertaining to read.
Well, I'm waiting till we get there in 2035 when we get there with the Omni X-Men. So that's my
mark your calendars now. Who's going to join us?
I don't want
Jason's already signing up.
I don't want to get too far ahead. That's what I mean. Like
mark me down, man. Come on.
I remember when like Reggie did a bunch of shows on those issues and the art and the collectability of it, and then of course later those issues all started to spike because people were like, oh, this is the first time you see the term Weapon X and you see him in that process. So those issues have started to kind of go up a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, let's see. We'll move on here from this, kind of still wrapping this portion up here. I love that she's like, oh, you're a night creeper, right? Like, I'm like, what night creeper? He's like, no, lady, it's a night crawler.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. So yeah, basically, Wolverine's looking for to catch up with Vindicator. So this is kind of where it leads us to. But as you see at the bottom there, Vindicator. That's a typo there. It's supposed to say AKA Vindicator, AKA the hothead, as he's yeah, he's definitely a little bit of a hothead as we see here, even as he's like describing some of the things to what's their names?
The Shaman. His name is Shaman.
Okay, Shaman.
His character's his superhero identity is Shaman.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's like talking about like how which I get, like they're trying to explain where the rest of the team is right now. So they do hint that if you read Machine Man issue 19, which is on sale now during that time, that was the plug for that. But so he's kind of explaining like, hey, it's just us 3 because the others are busy with this other project that they have, and he's kind of explaining how he got angry, he lost his temper, and they didn't give him what he wanted, and the team is split up, and it's how it's got to be right now for Alpha Flight. So so he's like, so we're on our own, the 3 of us or whatever. So they're alone in this cabin in a whole separate area in Canada, and basically they're looking at a map and basically trying to figure out. They're trying to find this creature is all they kind of name. And we don't really know what's going on yet with where this is going. But, John, what were your initial thoughts of like just seeing Vindicator? And, obviously we were going into this direction.
I mean, I think the Vindicator's always looked cool and been a jerk. I think that's just basically the 2 qualities that I get from this character. And every time he shows up, I'm always like, somebody just beat the crap out of this guy.
Man, he's a dickhead.
Right?
No other way to put it.
I always liked Shaman. I thought it was always one of the cooler Alpha Flight characters. Shaman and Puck were always my guys. Like those are the 2 that I thought were most interesting on that team. So I always thought Shaman was a cool character. Warlord, what's going on?
What about you, Jason? What are your thoughts on here? What's up, Warlord?
I mean, I like the descriptions of the whole Wendigo evidence, I should say, with the did they show it in this panel? No, I think it's the next page.
It's a little later when they
a couple pages.
Yeah, but I liked the whole we got to find out what's going on. Like I said, there was a lot in this issue, packed in. I as I was reading, I didn't mind so much of different characters all just pushed in. I don't know. I genuinely like the pacing of this. personally. And no, I enjoyed it.
All right. I see here I got a super chat here, $5 super chat from Warlord. Thank you so much, man. He says, "Hope everybody is having a good night." We are having a great night, my friend, and thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And for that, of course, I have to play a little clip here. So since this is the Omni X-Men, I think that this is an appropriate and kind of a silly one. So here you go. John, I don't pay for suits. My suits are on the house, or the house burns down.
Well, all right. Cheers to you, my good man.
Yeah, John, you're
all right.
All right. Good. Thank you, Warlord, for that $5 super chat, my friend. Really,
honestly, that night, I don't know what was funnier, like your impersonations or John's response of like,
yeah, because he was just going off the cuff, which I was glad. Like, I'm like,
I'm pretty sure
going, you know?
at one point he was like, "Oh, you're still doing it, huh?" All right.
So good. Hey, Bobby Delegato in the house. What's going on, Bobby? Good to see you, man. Says always dug the bow, the bow that Nightcrawler.
He's doing that deep like circus bow to.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Very cool. All right, let's see. We'll keep moving here. So immediately, I should say, at the bottom right hand corner is where Shaman kind of gets this like alert that something's going on outside or whatever. And this is a little bit of everything that's going on. But initially, they jump into action. They're all like, got their suits ready. What's the girl's name, John?
Snowbird.
Snowbird. Okay, so she turns into this polar bear, runs outside, and they all kind of split up. And I just love like that bottom. I should have blew this up, but the bottom panel there, Wolverine is just chilling by the door. He's had several scenes where he's just he probably has a beer, like we don't see it
probably
here,
tucked in.
Yeah. At this point, we're used to it. I just love how he's just showing up in random places. It reminds me of oh God, what's that movie with Adam Sandler and the butler who kept showing up in random places?
You underestimate the sneakiness.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
D's. Kind of reminds me of that. So then I throw some of these gifts in here because I love the scene of like Nightcrawler getting scared of this polar bear that shows up, which I'd be scared too if a random polar bear came creeping up on me. And he just like jumps, and Wolverine's kind of embarrassed. He's like, "Hey man, like, come on, like settle down. Like you're
representing the X-Men.
Yeah.
Stop crapping your pants."
Exactly.
Honestly,
hey, we got our friend Eric in the house. What's up, Eric?
What
go ahead, Jason.
Was the whole transformation of the polar bear transformation panel, because Vindicator's like, I don't know the exact words, but he says something to the effect of like, be low key about it. You know what I mean? Go out and like see what's going on.
Keep a low profile. I want no unnecessary trouble.
How in the hell can you keep a low profile when a polar bear is running out the front door?
Yep.
Trying to chase down whatever.
Jason, it's Canada. Polar bears are everywhere out there. That's just normal.
You're
camping, you're like, there's another polar bear.
Should have known better, living in Jersey, like I don't know anything.
That's what happens when a New Yorker writes about Canada.
Yeah,
they're like, there's bears and
syrup.
There's syrup, right? They have
polar bears. Yeah. That's great. John, anything to add here with this scene or these scenes?
No, it's just fun to see Wolverine get like, you can see that he's been a part of a team before and just kind of see some of those connections a little bit. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't comment earlier, but this is something that is highlighted. I know we'll talk probably later about is Wolverine's suit. And I know back here, even like this one, Wolverine's suit is definitely different from kind of what we've seen in the past. So, we'll get into that with some of the featured stuff we talk about later, but just something I wanted to randomly shout out there. Moving along, so we get a little backstory now, and this is, Jason, what you were talking about before, of just like getting an understanding of what the main premise of this part of the story is, where why is Alpha Flight, like, who are they looking for? They're looking at this map trying to figure something out, and here Shaman kind of gives the whole rundown and a flashback of kind of what happened. So it's about this family who went camping, Joe Parnell, and his family. And I had to zoom in on what the kid was reading here during this flashback of the tent scene, and then he's actually reading a Fantastic Four issue. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, I didn't even notice that either.
So I tried to blow that up a little bit. I can't tell if that is, if they tried to mock an actual issue or not. But
I'm sure they must have. I can't tell what issue it is. That's funny.
Yeah. I thought that was clever. And then so we basically hear now where the boy escaped, they didn't find the parents, or the one parent died, like, and all they have is like this footprint, and that's what Vindicator is holding up now, which is passing along to Wolverine, and Wolverine recognizes it immediately, says it's Wendigo. He talks about it being this
I imagine him going like
legend.
Wendigo.
Yeah,
I imagine like there's a little bit of like, oh, that guy again.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
Totally. And then we get this flashback. Go ahead.
This was awesome.
This was a fun way to like for a reader to jump on. If somebody had not read X-Men before and was like just picking up, this issue gave a lot of information on who's on the team, what are their abilities, how did they get here. I mean, you got the whole life story of Wolverine almost in this one issue too. Like what are his appearances up to now, kind of thing. It was fun.
It's like reading 180, 181, and 182 all on one panel, or one page here, I should say.
And he's even got the cute kitty whiskers on his old costume there.
That's right. I had to bring it back.
And the art is great. The art in these flashback panels is especially
it's nice.
I don't know, for some reason that one panel of Hulk like holding up the boulder. On the right side,
bottom right, in the middle right. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like his face, the way it was drawn, I really loved it. I don't know. I was like, like Hulk, like I don't know, that's his face. Like,
I think whenever an artist can put those effective shadows on his face for anger, it always really works really well.
Yeah.
Totally. I want to say a quick hello to Dave Enrique, who's hanging out with us. Says Polar Bears drive Volvos in Canada. There you go. Bobby also says, I think TM, as in TM Nerdy, has a Polar Bear as well. I think you're right.
I believe that's true. Yeah.
And Magic Lasso says it looks like FF4 cover to me. So that's interesting. I'm going to go back and
I would assume it would be an early issue.
I see the stretchiness of Reed. Like,
that's what that was the first thing that I stood out to me. Bobby says, I like when John Byrne does the old school Wolverine costume. Yeah, well said. And then and Dave said this lead to the Byrne to doing a wraparound cover from 180 to 181.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love that. I cherish that book so much because I'm never going to be able to afford.
And that honestly was one of the very first comics I remember buying. That reprint of 180, 181. Yeah, nice. It's just such a great book, and that was how I first read those stories. Absolutely, yeah.
Nice. And the fact that it's a wraparound cover is just it's really nice.
Fact.
Yeah. All right, so moving on here. So we get the whole story, kind of what's going on, and then we kind of flash back to the plan right now that they're going to go after. Basically, go out. And look, I see Wolverine here kind of sharing some of his passion about how he feels about Wendigo and the history that he's had. He says he takes it personal. It's something that he wants to kind of handle on its own. It's something he has to do. And then he mentions that we got to get our gear. I like that. Nightcrawler immediately bamps to go get it. Kind of getting him out of the scene there for a moment. So this was just like a lot. Again, just pointing out, actually, I'm just going to jump to the next page because this is where Nightcrawler kind of talks about. He's like, I never saw Wolverine, so deeply into this what he calls a complex for this, and just to show some more the idea that Wolverine definitely hides a lot of things. He's not very open in that sense. So just again, some more character building here, I'd say, for this time period. But before I get too ahead of myself, what were you guys? Any guys want to add anything to this, or even going into this panel here that I have up?
I actually got lost in this in these current panels. Like, I loved it. Like, it's I forgot where this issue left off. Like, again, I only read this issue once, going through just reading the run a couple of years ago. So like, I remember, and I was reading this digitally, so I would just keep scrolling down. So I didn't exactly know where the end would be, kind of, because I wasn't paying attention to the little scrolling thing on the side. And I got really lost within this dialogue, and like in a good way, like really immersed, and like just his voice is in my head, kind of, like his inner monologue, like about Jean, and like how he feels, and like the emotions he's going through, because as a team, they are going through some rough patches, especially losing such a key member of the team and friend to death, in general, and then Cyclops leaving. There's a lot of heavy emotions going on. And I remember earlier I was like scrolling, and I was like reading, and then it goes to the end a little, a couple pages after this, and I was like, oh damn, like that's it, that's the next issue. And then that's when I like had a little like mini epiphany. I was like, wow, like goes to show like Chris Claremont's writing and like obviously the art too, but like getting lost in that whole inner monologue kind of thing. So I really enjoyed it.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
And the color work here on these well, it's really just one page is amazing. It's just that whole view of Canada is stunning, and then you go right into the predator view. What I would consider like when the predator is hunting you, it's like you're in the heat vision, and you hear the sound effects and like the clicking noises of the predator. Totally. That's what the Wendigo vision there looks like to me. Yeah, as it's like hunting and catching up on poor Kurt.
Yep. I agree too, Jason, in the idea of like just getting lost with this. I mean, one, just the view, kind of getting the emotion of like what's happening right now. Yeah, and then on top of that, like you said, like the dialogue, like he's kind of all over the place with his thoughts. First he's talking about Wolverine, then he's just talking about like his sadness for Jean and why did that have to happen, and how do I get rid of this pain, and it makes sense because it's like that stuff just happened. Like they all should still pretty much be in pain still from that huge event that we had just kind of went through. So I'm glad that they kind of kept that going, and that at least the idea of it going, that some of the team members are hurting. Their friend died in front of them, and all this other drama that happened. Like, it's a big deal. So I like that they kind of kept that type of vibe involved, at least top of mind. I also wanted to highlight a couple things here. I saw Jackson Roy Kirk says, "I never knew you could be so deep. You never asked." Add Bub at the end of that, Bub. And then Bobby likes the hair that Wolverine. He says, "What kind of wax does Wolverine use on his hair? They're looking sharp." I agree. We have our good friend Kenneth Bird hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you, Kenneth. Thanks for swinging by here. Bobby saying, "Beautiful sunset." Yes, for sure. Love these panels. So yeah, definitely agree with you guys there. And the other thing too I was going to point out was the little U rent symbol there on the door. So yeah, it wasn't U rent the truck that was used for a couple different I don't know if this flang truck had
that was a garbage truck.
Okay, I know they used U rent for something else, but I can't think of what else they did it for. Maybe it was when they were camped out, they were in a truck outside that they were pretending it was something else. I don't know. It definitely was in another issue. I know.
Sounds familiar. Yeah. It might have been in that first Alpha Flight appearance when they had the van that was like pretending to be doing surveillance and following them around Canada.
I think that might have been it. Yeah. So yeah, I noticed U-Rent is the company that Claremont goes to for some of that stuff.
Outside the disco where we saw Dazzler is what Jackson worked. The surveillance van outside of the disco. There you go.
Good call. There you go. Good call, Roy Kirk. And then of course, so we see at the bottom right hand corner, as he's like reminiscing and all these like feelings and thoughts that Nightcrawler has, something sneaks up on him, and of course we get the final panel. Boom, Wendigo. Right? That's him, right?
Exactly the Wendigo. Fact.
Look, he's like that's that poor deer. I mean, that deer is basically Nightcrawler. Like,
it is absolutely Nightcrawler. It's so good.
Rudolph the Nightcrawler. Yes. Yeah. By the way, do you like my little
I do. I saw the
snowflake. Lasso, of course, did somebody say Dazzler? Yep. All over it. Yeah. Any final thoughts here? Obviously, we're hitting the last panel here. We get the big surprise, the big reveal as we kind of now know what direction we're really going in and what the team's going to have to be facing here. Anything you guys want to add on here?
I'm a big fan of Wolverine Wendigo issues, and I think the best parts of 180 and 181 and 182 for me are the Wendigo story. If you go back and read it, like Wolverine is like you don't need him in that, but like Wendigo is actually doing a really interesting story in those 2-3 issues. I'm also reminded of there's a Spider-Man 5-issue miniseries like that McFarlane drew in the early issues of that Spider-Man run, not the amazing one, but the regular self-titled one. And it's all about like children being found murdered in the woods, and everybody thinks the Wendigo is doing it, and then there are all these hunters in the woods trying to kill the Wendigo, and Spider-Man's there recovering it as a journalist, and then Wolverine shows up in his old blue and blue costume, and he's trying to stop the Wendigo, and there's a fun Wendigo Wolverine thing going on in that as well. So yeah, there's some fun tie-ins to those two characters going together.
Nice. Jason, any final thoughts here with kind of how this ends?
It's hell of a cliffhanger. right? You know, if I was buying it not weekly, monthly,
Mhm.
you know, I couldn't wait for the next issue. Obviously, Kurt's
Yeah.
about to get effed up, you know, unless he does his Bamf and
Gotta-
Bamf's out of there like a smart
Right.
man would. But yeah, no, it's a great ending. You know, it's a great cliffhanger. You know, when Wendigo's here, and next issue starts with action. You know.
Yep. I'm with you. Yeah, Bobby talking about Wendigo taking up the whole page there, dwarfing Nightcrawler for sure. And Ryan says, "Isn't Wendigo just Wendy's fast food from the drive-through window?" Yeah, that sounds about right, Ryan. All right, so let's get into some of the numbers here. As always, we like to talk about kind of where this, what the key elements are of this issue and where it stands in the market right now. So the key elements that I had added here, just, Kitty Pryde joining the X-Men as her new official team name here, Sprite, as we talked about earlier. We do have a first appearance. We talked about Heather Hudson, who later becomes the character Guardian, who I'm not familiar with, and then also later, spoilers, later becomes Vindicator. So,
which is why sometimes I call the Vindicator Guardian, and people are like, no, the Guardian's the guy with the mohawk, man. It's like, oh, crap.
True.
Heather Hudson.
Yep, that's right. And then as we also mentioned earlier, the debut of the new brown and tan Wolverine costume, which Jason and I were trying to figure out if it had anything to do with certain other characters that we've been introduced to, both past and present. And we were mixing up the guy from Hellions, Wild Child, and then also the guy that we've read from like issue 107 back when we were in outer space with
the guy that Wolverine beats up, strips naked, and then puts his clothes on. Yeah, that guy. That
guy.
So we were like, okay, so that's
a natural decision to make.
Yeah. Like that one had these cool, like, these fangs, I guess we could say.
Yeah, he had the little, and then he wears it for like 2 issues. He's like, I'm like, well, this is good. This is comfy.
Like,
it's not awkward. This isn't awkward.
It just happened to fit perfectly, and Wild Child, he's a little smaller. He's a little skinnier. So I don't know if Wild Child would fit in that one. But
take the power of your enemies.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Puts it on. He's like, pretty warm, bub.
Yeah. This is snug.
So those are some of the key elements there. And then, of course, talking about some of these numbers here, there are no 10.0s, no 9.9. So chat, you're okay there. But the 9.8s, there's about 251 out there. Again, this is all stuff based off of Go Collect. And then it doubles for 9.6s. So plenty of 9.6s and 9.4s out there, as you can see. And then on the right here, a 9.8 fair market value from Go Collect has it listed right now at $475 and a 30-day average of $538 for a 9.8.
I want to shout out the concept that the 30-day average is more accurate, because if you look down the list, you're going to see where that's at. Look at the 9.6. The 9.6 has a fair market value of 140 and a 30-day average of 372.
More than double. Wow. Yeah.
So some people are like, well, the fair market value is not. No, it's not. In the last month, that book's going for almost $400, man. It's that fair market value just has not found where the market is currently. Because clearly some numbskulls overpaid for a few 9.6s.
Yeah. I mean, even if you go by the
No, I was going to say that's probably why the copy I told you about at Zap that I've seen so many times is at $25. Because I thought that was pretty pricey for this book.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say even with the 90-day average is higher too, or is also higher than the fair market value.
Yeah.
Almost double there for the 9.6. I kind of thought about it too, Jason. I know we talked about like the pricing of these. I do feel like if you can find any of these early Claremont books, I mean, I call these early all the way through like 143, for $20 or under, I think that's like an automatic buy, at least in my opinion. I will usually do that. So I do think 25 is probably pretty fair still.
Well, listen, overall, Zap, obviously, like better than anyone.
They're usually pretty good. Yeah.
And their prices for their books are very respectable. You know what I mean? Even their big keys. Every book, it's very fair. There's a lot of meat, quote unquote, left on the bone. You know what I mean? So like, I'm sure that book was in pristine condition at $25. Raw.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby here saying Fang was a bite off of the Legion of Superheroes Timberwolf. Oh, okay. Did not know that. Let's see. Roy Kirk also saying Wolvie dealing with Jean's death by sewing that there's a side of him we never knew about, but what we never asked. Yeah, Roy Kirk, we gotta start asking these questions for Wolverine there.
I want a Wolverine sewing issue in X-Men Legends.
A what? A Wolverine what?
Sewing issue.
Oh, so yeah. That'd be great. Yeah. So, Eric saying still rising too. Yeah, those issues and a lot of these issues, going back to some of these earlier Claremont books. So yeah, definitely. I guess it is what it is right now. I don't consider this a massive key in any sense, but I could see how it's like that. Yeah, totally, absolutely. So any final thoughts here before we kind of close this out and we'll get into our trivia here? Anything that either of you wanted to add?
I had one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this was. I don't think we didn't talk about it, but I don't know if the specific panel was shown. But in the beginning couple pages, and I didn't notice, I didn't really think about it, I guess, on the first read, but I noticed it on this one. In the beginning couple pages where Nightcrawler brings in the lemonade, I think. He gets kind of close to Kitty, and Kitty's gets a little jumpy and scared, right?
Ooh, yeah,
and then she has her inner monologue of I don't want to be scared of him. I want to, I want to give him a chance, whatever. But it's just the way he looks is so scary, you know what I mean? And then you get Nightcrawler's inner monologue thinking I don't want to mess this up. I really want to be friends with her, or maybe more, or whatever the case is. But I really want us to have a relationship of some sort, right? And I don't want to mess this up, right? And I took I didn't think anything of it, obviously, on the first read, like I said, but on this read, I really appreciated it because this is Claremont, dropping little nuggets of what should be happening, I guess, in it kind of in the real world where let's say different people of different races, that don't know too much about each other's cultures, let's say, let's say, for example, myself in that time, as an Asian person or as an Asian man or whatever, so a white person or any type of person who doesn't know as much about my culture or myself, where I look so different, and they get kind of jumpy, and that is a natural thing to certain degrees of when you don't recognize something or something's different, you kind of get you take a step back, right? And I really appreciated how, like I said, Claremont was really the one who really drove the metaphor for the minorities and the way people are treated, right, differently. Sure. So I really appreciated those little nuggets anywhere we can get them, where those little bits of real life interactions and stuff like that.
Well, and that feeling of being the new kid and being in a new place and a new situation, and how do you handle yourself, and what does that say about you?
Yeah,
there's a ton of new things that Kitty's dealing with.
Yeah, that's great points, and this also isn't the first time either. I know we kind of got a little bit of that, from last issue, and I'm trying to think of another time too that Kitty. I feel like we've certainly seen that before, or we're probably going to see that a little bit more.
And a lot of her first appearance too. That first issue where we see her dealing with a ton of new faces and people from all around the world, a bunch of accents and characters that she's never come across in her experience.
Yep. Yeah, she's blown away by that, and the fact that they're celebrities. Sort of. Yeah. No, well said there, Jason. Good call there. Definitely something to keep an eye out on too as we move forward. So that's the issue 139. I think definitely a great one for the books, and glad to break it down and have you on as our guest, Jason, for this. Everybody watching right now, don't go away. We're going to get into the trivia, and so we'll dive into that now. And as I showed you guys earlier, that picture, that's part of our trivia. We're going to basically ask 4 different questions coming up between the two of us, John and I, and you can get a raffle ticket if you are one of the first 2 to answer, or if you give us a funny answer. I think a majority of you here kind of know how this works already, but we're going to ask these questions. If you know the answer, just put it in the chat. If you don't, but you see other people writing them, feel free to copy and paste, because it's up to the first 2 that get them right will be entered into our raffle. And again, for when we do our raffle, which is not until probably summertime, this is one of the prizes that will be raffled off. That's the one that our good friend Nick Lane, he's going to be or that he drew for us, and then John also is going to be raffling off a mystery box, sort of mixed in with some X-Men stuff and some other good readables, right?
Definitely.
So looking forward to that. So let's get right into the questions here. John, I will pass it to you first. Why don't you start?
So the last issue we read was an X-Men annual, and it was really based on the Inferno poem written by Dante. And my first question is a spelling question. How do you spell Dante's last name? Because that's going to be a tricky one. I don't know how to make a comedy answer out of this, but as a reminder, we give comedy points. So if there's a way to turn that into something funny, you can get points for the comedy, or you can quickly research how to spell Dante's last name and then type it in, because I had to write it down. I'm just telling you right now. It's like, because they refer to him by his last name in the issue. They don't often call him Dante. They call him by his last name.
I'd be curious if we get some interesting comedy somehow. There's the link, by the way, Nicholas Lane. So.
It's Mayer.
Listen,
there's
a golden rule for me on this show for comedy answers.
Yeah,
if I can't think of anything, I just say Leland's bulge.
Well, there you go.
Hope for the best.
Right. Oh, see, someone's gonna steal that now, Jason. When you're back,
you could win.
That is the strategy for sure. As a reminder, all you need is one entry ticket, and we've had people win here before from last season.
One
shout
and
out to
done.
Matt.
Yep.
Yeah, so totally doable. So we're looking for Dante's last name. I'm not seeing any.
I don't know what Lefty is typing, so he's making me question my answer. I don't know if Dante's got a different last name.
I was gonna say that looks specific. I
don't know.
Yeah, he's a poet, and the last name I got is not the one you got. I'm gonna triple check his.
They mention it in the actual issue too. His last name. I'm
not seeing it. So. Leland's bulge or what the Farouk? I mean, that's a fair answer for anything at this point.
Roy Kirk, you could just literally copy paste that for every single one. You might
just
get,
keep dropping it. It's like the Diana Ross joke that Lasso keeps throwing around. Nobody can spell Dante. His last name is, I think it's pronounced Alighieri, but that's not how you spell it. It doesn't sound the way you would spell it. This might be the first trivia question where people are like, I'm not looking that up.
Everyone is still, yeah.
This is
so who do these guys think
I didn't come here for spelling. Dear Lord. Okay, I see one person has spelled it correctly.
There you go. Okay, yeah.
One.
So I see. You're right.
I see one correct spelling so far.
It's not.
It is Dante's poem is called Inferno.
Right. Inferno's not his last name.
But Dante is not, his last name is not Inferno.
It's called Inferno and it's by Dante. Yeah.
So close. That copy and paste did not work. What is Pertuz? What is that? I want to understand this. Is there a joke I'm missing on this?
Yeah, anybody know? Yeah.
I think Bobby wins.
Well, the correct answer was given to us by Magic Lasso. So Lasso is definitely getting 1 point for that.
Vengeance.
And you're voting for Bobby for a comedy point?
I like that. His name is Vengeance. I like that.
There you go.
There you go. So Ryan's got one and Bobby's got one. And whoever can quickly copy and paste.
And it's
Ryan's.
Lefty. He got it spelled. He got it copied. So Lefty. Lefty's getting the second point. So 62 Lefty Blues.
Oh, that's Eric. Eric's joke is Inferno. That was what he was doing. Clever. All
right, so there you go.
All right, very good. So my question that I'll kick it off with is, who was the first person to greet Doctor Strange at the door early in the issue when we first saw that Doctor Strange was in fact the person that this issue's all about? We see him on the front cover of last issue. Who was it that actually greeted him at the door first?
The bulge.
Inferno has a last name.
That would just work every time. Oh, Chet was asking the question. What is Pertuz?
Oh, there it is. Okay. I see the answer twice.
Boom. Yes. All right. We got Lasso with Kitty. That's the correct answer. And Chet, who spelt it right. We'll give it to him.
Lefty and Bobby with two funny answers as well. I see Lurch, which, I mean, that's always funny. I like a
Yep.
good Addams Family joke there.
Yep.
And then the doorman. I mean, obviously, if that's logical, like who's going to answer is the doorman.
Pretty straightforward.
I was hoping for a Moira with an AK-47 or an AR-15. Like that's a good way to be greeted at the door, right?
Did someone say that as
Jason,
an answer?
No.
Oh, I'm so disappointed now.
Yeah.
I feel like it goes to Lefty for Lurch because I'm an Addams Family fan.
Yeah,
All right, there you go. We'll go with 62 Lefty Blues. Nice job there. All right, John, what's your second question?
So at one point the team gets a little separated and they're trying to find Storm. And they come across this sort of field of souls and they can't find her except Wolverine. He's got a way to find her. How does Wolverine find Storm in the mass of forgotten souls?
Hmm.
Man, this is a tough crowd. I agree, Eric. You just gotta.
You just gotta really throw something out there, Eric.
Gotta bring your A game. Gotta bring your A game.
Bring your A game, yeah.
Big crazy worm. Yeah, there's lots of big crazy worms in there.
Repeat the question one more time.
How does Logan find Storm in the Field of Souls? And it's there twice, I believe. Lasso on fire tonight. He does it by her scent. And Azor's, I'll give it to you, smell. The sense of smell.
Boom.
So Azor's and Lasso. Like me, he smells her out. There you go. I mean, that's fair. He smells her. He yells Marco.
I
I didn't even see that one there.
Yeah, he just yells Marco, and then he's like, "Where is she?" Yeah. So far, that's the only comedy one I got.
I like that one. He yells Marco.
Then Lefty on fire with the comedy tonight.
The comedy, yeah.
All right, last question.
All right, last question. I don't know if you really do comedy with this one or not, but what is the name of Kurt's brother that we get introduced to? Last issue was a little bit of an origin story for Kurt and his kind of his history and family, but we learned that he does have sort of a brother that's that we're looking for the first name. What is the first name of Kurt's brother?
I don't know that I can do this. I don't know that I can answer this one.
62 says soul smells.
I mean,
perhaps. Use your imagination.
It's possible.
Oh, wow.
The night creeper, the day crawler. Oh my god.
Isn't there isn't there actually a day crawler in the new X-Men
It's possible.
What's the new Hickman, the new the series that just ended, the Atom of the Child of the Atom,
Children of the Atom,
yeah.
There was a day, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right.
The character was called Daycrawler.
Yeah,
Vita Ayala's book.
Yeah.
The
good call there,
says Jason the Bulge. Wow.
Get a little Monty Python
fire there. Did anybody get it correctly yet?
No.
We're asking some really difficult questions tonight,
yeah, I guess
folks.
so.
So be prepared.
Man, all right. I do see one. And by the way, I don't know. Chet here wrote Magali Zordos. I don't know. I don't know if that's just a big typo. That's just a massive typo? I don't
Gotcha. Okay, I see the name.
Yeah, there's one here I do see. I won't highlight it yet, but there is a correct answer.
I had to look it up, and yeah, somebody's got it.
Yeah. Eric, Day Runner. It's got Bert.
There it is. Okay, I see it twice now.
Yep. So we got Chet first. Stefan. Stefan is the correct answer. We also have Ryan Magic Lasso coming in clutch with the copy paste of Stefan. Jason, I'm going to give this to you on which one would you like to choose as the comedy answer to close us out here. You can't pick yourself.
You can't pick your own answer.
No, I wasn't going to. Yo, give it to Eric, man. Give it to my boy Eric, because
All right, but for which one though? For which one that he put there? He had a couple of good ones.
Bert.
Let's just go with Bert. The
right.
first one I saw, just because it's my guy Eric.
Right.
Let's get
there.
one.
We go.
I like it. All right. So there you have it, folks. That'll do it for our trivia section. As we wrap up here again, appreciate everybody. We are going to, as a reminder, be over on John's channel next week. John from John's Comics with Kids. I put his information in the description below. And we're gonna have our good friend Everett Otto on as our guest to break down 140. So very excited for that. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, want to thank you, Jason, for being on with us as a first time guest of the show for Omni X-Men, and certainly will not be the last. So thank you for joining us, man.
I appreciate the both of you, and I'm always down to talk mutants. So invite me whenever you can.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. We'll send you back that long list, and you can pick from what's left there. Yeah.
You're right.
So yeah, very cool. Again, a reminder: I put Jason's information in the description below as well. If you guys don't follow him over on Instagram, you certainly should, and not only follow him, but you should reach out and talk comics with him, because that's what I do, and it's always a lot of fun. So, with that being said, Eric says I'll take that sympathy vote. There you go, man. Hey,
I got you, man.
Hey, you do what you got to do.
The raffle ticket.
Do what you got to do. That's right. We'll be over on John's next Tuesday and 9:00 same time. Again, smash that like button on the way out, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.